Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Paul at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Today, we are doing an updated refresh on one of my most popular videos that I have ever done, starting a Skaven army. This is a look here in from Age of Sigmar 4th edition. So, the old one, I think I did back maybe in 2nd edition. It was quite a while ago. So, I thought this would be a good opportunity to uh, bring a refresh to this for folks that are uh, looking to get started, especially with the Skaven Tide box coming out, all the newly released models and all of those sorts of things. All right, just a quick overview of the army. What does this army do? You got lots of unit options, lots of unit types. There is a little bit of pretty much everything in here, other than like cavalry, I think is the only thing that they're really missing. Um, it can be an attrition army for sure, throwing lots and lots of bodies on the board for your opponent to try and chew through. There's many different unit options, even multiple options in the same sort of class of units. Um, You've got some mobility tricks available to you with your gnaw holes, with your magic, and a few other things sprinkled throughout the army. Your magic and your prayers are especially strong, as well as your shooting. So, doing things at range definitely powerful in this army. Some weaknesses to them: generally low armor. Most of this is, your guys are here for a good time, not for a long time. You're throwing bodies at a problem, and no problem can't be solved by throwing wave after wave of men at it. Most of the time, this is going to be a horde army. Otherwise, there are some pretty elite options with it if you choose to go in that direction. The playstyle can definitely be unforgiving. This is one that you're going to be using your brain a lot to try and figure out your outs to maximize what you're doing. So, not necessarily an army for new players most of the time, but I'm never going to tell you not to pick up an army that you love. Without using your mobility tricks, you also have pretty poor mobility in general. You're kind of slow, although with abilities like 3 claw steps ahead, that does give you a little bit of a boost. So, how do we jump in model wise? Currently, what we have available for sale that you can go grab in pretty much any store right now, your Spearhead box, that's going to give you some Claren Rats, a Grey Seer, some uh, a Warp Lightning Cannon, and some Storm Fiends. All of these things, staples in this army. This could be a multi-buy Spearhead box for you. The only thing that you really don't need multiples of, I would say, are is that Grey Seer. Typically, you're not going to have more than one in the list. Then we've also got the Skaven Tide box. Now, the word of caution on this is that it's only half Skaven. The other half is going to be Stormcast Eternals. So you're going to want to split this with a friend or dump the other half on eBay, or hey, maybe start a Stormcast Eternals army as well. This has a lot of other staples in it. This also has a Grey Seer and an Engineer and more Clan Rats and the Warp Blaster, just and your Rat Ogres. Just totally awesome, good stuff. The two of these complemented together really nicely, and you don't need much else after that. It's kind of seasoned to taste. There's a lot of points in the Skaven Tide box, as well as the Spearhead. Put those two together, maybe two Spearheads and the Skaven half of the Skaven Tide box, and you basically got an army without having to add too much into it. Older boxes that we do have around now, important to note, these are all old sculpts. This is um, before the most recent release. However, I will note that there's not a tremendous difference stylistically between the old sculpts and the new sculpts, particularly like in your Clan Rats. Those look like exactly the same. Your Screaming Bell / Plague Furnace that is found in all three of these boxes. That's an older sculpt that still looks nice and is still the current sculpt. Same with the Vermin Lord and the Catapult / Warp Lightning Cannon that's in here, and the Plague Monks. So all of that is your current sculpts. It's really just the clan rats that are the old things that have been updated. The Verminous Host, this is going to get you lots of clan rats, lots of plague monks, and some storm fiends. And, that Screaming Bell is definitely solid as well, and so is the Plague Furnace. The Pestilence Start Collecting box, this is probably the oldest one on the list here. This was one of the early Start Collecting boxes that they did back. You would see Skaven Pestilence. This was before they had a book and combined all of this back into one faction when it was just like a smattering of all those sub factions. And then an older Battle Force box, the Corrupting War Swarm. This is another solid one. That's just a good mix of all different stuff that you definitely want. It's all staples all the way down. The Vermin Lord here, and as well as the individual box, it's always pictured and sculpted as the Corruptor, although you can build all of the Vermin Lords out of that kit. And, they're all pretty solid and interesting choices for various different reasons. So once you got some of your basics started, what else are you going to want to grab? You definitely want to grab your gnaw holes. That is your terrain feature. Comes in a pack of 3. You can use up to 3 in a game, so perfect. There you go. Your endless spells are pretty solid in this edition. You're always going to want more clan rats. I mean, you're probably going to want at least 80, so that it's a lot. So you're probably going to need to buy more clan rats. Your Arch Warlock, an excellent pickup. He's another strong wizard that has some other strong abilities as well. Rat Ogres are good, more elite, hard-hitting melee unit. Definitely going to be a good supplement if you didn't pick up the Skaven Tide box. And of course, the Vermin Lord kit. A cool trick that you can really do with this is, there's, I think, 5 different Vermin Lord builds that you can make. If you mix and match the different parts, right, do some of the parts with that are from the Corruptor, some having like the glaive, some having, one having like a different head than that from all the different Vermin Lord kits. You throw them all together in one kit and you can just play it as like whatever, just communicate to your opponent what it is. So this is the basics, getting started in a Skaven army. What's great here is that your staples are really all found in your big box sets. So you can pick up a couple of spearheads, a couple of Start Collectings, or Battle Force boxes, or Skaven Tide. And like that is always going to be an excellent foundation to get started in your army. Then you season to taste with the other things that you want in the army. These are really just a smattering of suggestions. Pick up some Jezzails, maybe. Pick up some Storm Fiends if you didn't get those in one of the boxes that you picked up, or just grab more because they're awesome. There's other wizards you can pick up. And of course the newer models as well, like Critic and Visic, both really good. So that's gonna basically be it. This is a relatively quick one. The big thing, as I said, the Spearhead and the Skaven Tide box, as well as the older boxes if you can find them for cheap. Those are really, really good foundations, giving you your basic staple units in this army. You're going to want to get a few of them. 2 or 3 will get you a really solid start to your army. And then pick up the other things you think are cool or moving in the direction that you want. It's a versatile army. You can, go down a path into one of the particular clans, pick up a lot of stuff in there, and have a really nicely well-focused army with some really good synergies and buffs going on. So I love this army. I need to get it on the table and play it more. But that's about it for now, guys. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll talk to y'all later.